Hello and welcome to another video. I'm Zelp and today we are going to look at another how to play Grendel video. I know it's going to be really confusing because I already have two videos that pretty much have the same name, but the first one was where I seek help in a way and also share some of my ideas. The second one was where I try out your ideas, and in this particular video I'm going to show you my idea of playing him. I feel like surely someone realizes this because it only took me a few games to find like, oh, this is actually good, and today I want to show it to you. It revolves around your fourth ability, but in order to use your fourth ability, you're gonna have to use your first ability. To make your fourth ability stronger or make your meatball bigger, you want to have to feast on or eat or swallow at least 10 enemies. And then after that, you're gonna have some variety of enemies in your tummy, hopefully, and then you can use your second ability. You want to look for the energy one and also the one that gives you damage, and that damage also increases your ability damage, so it's going to help your fourth ability. And if you are holding too many enemies, I recommend using your third ability to spit one or two out. So in case you accidentally gulp like let's say 12 enemies where you actually only need about 10 because that's the cap where it increases your fourth ability damage, so you can spit out 2 instead of spitting out every single thing. You can use your third ability to spit out 2 and then kind of lower the drain in that sense. So I'm going to show you that build, but before that I want to address something that I don't really like. So the first thing is I don't like how, okay, so let me just show you. If I have a melee, a range, and also a heavy unit, a flying unit, or a summon unit, so what will happen is that when I feast on them, the first one that I feast is going to be the one that's going to give you that particular buff. So if I feast on the first one first, and I'm actually not too sure if I took the first one first, and then if I use my second ability, it's going to be strike. Okay, and if I want to change it, I have to hold on my second, and then I can use it and I get my second. The second one that I took was the lancer and it's energy, and then the last one is melee, it's going to give you armor. Now the problem here is that you don't really know what kind of variety you have in your tummy, especially after you feast on a bunch of people. So it's really hard to tell. Now the way you can sort of tell is if you look at the icon all the way at the bottom, it changes when you hold down on your second, and that is where you know if you have it or not. The problem is the icon is really small, and if you were to use one of it, technically the number, the countdown, is also blocking the icon, so it makes it even harder to tell. Now there is so that is like a visual cue, which is really bad in my opinion. I feel like they should have some way to display like what types is in your tummy so that you can really quickly scroll through and find the thing that you want. So that is visual cue. You can actually hear the change as well. So for example, if I were to let me get some energy. So for example, if I were to hold, you can actually hear the bowel movement or something. Do you hear that? Oopsie. Okay, so let me kill the people in my tummy. Now I'm gonna show you what happens if you have them all the same. So these are all butchers, so I only have one type, and when you hold, it doesn't create that bowel movement, so you don't have that audio cue, so you know that there's nothing to change or you don't need to use your buff ability. The problem is most of the time you'll be fighting, it's gonna be loud, there's shots firing everywhere, so it's really hard to even notice those audio cues, and it's really hard to see the visual cue. So all in all, that is probably my only beef with this particular Warframe. Other than that, I actually find him really interesting and really fun to play. The whole ball thing, the movement mechanic is also a little bit interesting, which I find like, let's say if you're going one direction, you want to switch, just jump again, do a double jump, and you can change direction. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but once you get the hang of it, it's just really good. When you feast a bunch of enemies and you use your fourth ability, it actually damages the enemy inside your tummy. Eventually they die, and I think the drain from your first ability actually gets cancelled off, and then it's lessened. But there is another problem though, is that your fourth ability, the drain from your fourth ability actually ranks up over time. So you can see it's actually going a lot faster even though I have maximum efficiency. So by right it's supposed to be 2.5 energy per second, but over time it just ranks, it just drains a lot faster. I'm not too sure if there's a way to actually make it lesser or something. The only thing that I can think of is where you use the energy buff. Yeah, that's kind of pretty much it. Oh yeah, there's also one more thing that I'd like to point out. The weapon of choice that I'll be using is going to be the Obex. Now the reason why is because if you're using the Obex and you have this entropy detonation, where if you do a lethal ground attack, it does cause enemies to explode, then but that's not the main point. The main point is actually the entropy burst. Now everything else over here is really just for life strike, to be honest. So I kind of like the change without the channeling, and you go for heavy attacks instead. It's just so visually pleasing, and it doesn't cost energy. I remember a time when you use life strike, you have to like manage how much energy you spend per hit and how much it heals you. That's why people run with really low rank life strike. But now it's like just put in the highest rank one and just run around doing this, and if you are tanky enough, you're gonna survive for a really long time. Okay, let's go and do some actual gameplay to show off what this guy's capable of. I feel like instead of like the old method that I always run with where we test it on heavy gunners, I feel like doing it in ESO right now seems to be quite a good idea to test builds, because there's a variety, you know, and as the different zone changes, you get Greniers, you get the Infested, you get Corpus, you get the Corrupted and stuff. Okay, let's see, what do we have? We have Saren, which is good. I realize there's a lot of people play with Inaros. I'm not too sure what's the reason for that. Is it just because it's tanky? So this guy playing Inaros, he is rank 21. He's pretty much the highest over here. Well, besides me, but I'm a noob, so I don't count. Okay, so the way this works, and it's not gonna be very effective, especially in the early games. When I say early games, I meant like zone 1. The reason why is because zone 1 enemies has a lot of armor. They are Greniers, and it doesn't shine that well. But once it gets into zone 3, then you're gonna see this build do like crazy amount of damage, and it will even outshine Saren. There's a few things I like to point out about this guy though, the Grendel. He's actually not very good when it comes to pairing up with, or I guess the correct word is synergizing with other frames. It's also not very good at synergizing with anything that has CC. So if frames has CC capabilities, any enemy so far I've tried or I've realized, let me know if I'm wrong by the way, any enemy that has some kind of CC, like I tried it on Korra where he used the cage, enemies hanging, dangling on the cage, I can't eat them, right? And let's say Saren, when she used her, I think her ultimate actually staggers the enemy. When that happens, if I were to try to use my eat, it doesn't work as well. So yeah, basically I think it works on all, as in it doesn't work on all CC, and you might potentially waste a a little bit of triggering mana. Oh, I said mana again. I mean energy for using your first to try and eat the enemy. Anyways, I feel like this part of the gameplay is not gonna be that interesting. So we are going to jump over to the third zone because I have the power of editing. I'll see you guys there. And depending on how far they want to go, even if they don't want to reach, let's say, zone 8, we will still solo it and get into zone 8. Because I've soloed zone 9 before. I don't think zone 8 is going to be much of a problem. Okay, so it seems like the host has left. And I don't really know who else is with us. Maybe they just haven't connected yet. But there is a really high chance that we are on our own. And they basically did zone 1 and they just didn't want to continue. It may be that thing that I was talking about in the last video where they would judge based on the Warframe. So if they see a Warframe that wasn't the meta that they know, they will just like, oh, we're not gonna get very far from this, so okay, let's build. So I'm gonna prove them wrong. I'm gonna continue anyways, and we are going to get all the way to zone 8 with this build. Okay, so that is what we're doing, and we're gonna solo this. Now technically it's not a very good idea to be soloing because this build, although the character itself doesn't synergize well with Warframes, with other Warframes, but it is still really good when there are other allies. A reason for that is, let me just get back some. Let me just get back some health. There you go. Okay, so the reason why I say it's really good if there's more allies is because when there's more allies, chances are there'll be more corrosive projection. So when it comes to armored enemies, it's not going to be that hard to kill because 4 corrosive projection is supposedly, I don't know if it still does the same thing, but back in my days, they remove all of their armor. So that actually makes your damage a lot better. Okay, we're in zone 3 finally. So now you're actually gonna see a lot of damage. We're gonna be owning this pretty much. Ooh. Okay, 16's good enough. Let's just do this. Okay, let's start. Now the other reason is that my OBAX is the reason. Before I said that the OBAX is good because it will trigger your syndicate proc, which is entropy, and that entropy will actually give you mana even though you're a meatball. The problem is when I'm killing like this, I'm actually killing with my Warframe, so all the affinity is going to the Warframe and doesn't go to the weapon, and when that happens you don't get the experience to trigger the entropy. So by having, let's say, another Saren off and on, it will trigger, and that's gonna make things a lot easier for you because you have your energy up. You can see that you don't want to go into the nullifier bubble, but just staying close to it, you can actually destroy the bubble and then kill that person. Oh, and I was just about to talk about this point. So you don't want to let yourself go down to too low of mana, because if you ran out of mana when you're in your meatball form, it's going to cause you to get dizzy for 2 seconds and you're pretty much stunned for 2 seconds. So you don't want that to happen because it's very dangerous. In that 2 seconds, with so many enemies around, you can easily die. So therefore, what you want to do is that just before, maybe when you have 50 mana left, oh, I keep saying mana, I mean energy left. I've been playing a lot of different games, and most of the games, I guess they're called mana. So yeah, anyways, so like right now you want to cancel it, I want to take some damage so that I get my... Oh boy. I want to take some damage and just do some normal fights here. Okay, I guess I don't need to. Okay, so now we are in zone 4. Okay, zone 4, what I usually do is I try to identify where the center is. So in this case, the center is over here. So I'm gonna take in as much as I can and then start doing my ball. Okay, I'm gonna use my second, my buff. Okay. Now when I do the storm, so like when I hit the ground, the enemies within my tummy also take that damage. So it actually kills them really quickly. So all I have to do is really just stand over here and just keep bouncing. I feel like this is going to be the next meta because there are games. In fact, actually I think I can pull out a screenshot for you guys to see where I play with 2 Sarens. So there's me, there's 2 other Saren, and I out damage them just by doing this. And to be honest, it's actually not a bad synergy with them because mine is very like a base damage thing, where else for them, for them, they have the ability to proc viral on the enemy, so that is something really good. Oh no, only 6. I need more. I need 10. There you go. The moment you have 10, that is good enough. You can actually start doing your Nourish. Your second ability also gives you health. So when you're in your meatball form and you can't use Life Strike, you can use Nourish to get back some health. Okay, so this is the infested ground. Let's just see who we can pick up. Now for the infested, it's very important that you seek out the disruptors. Is that what they call? The one that actually cause an aura that will reduce your mana. So you really want to take that one out first if you see them. So the moment you see some kind of purple aura in the distance, go for it and try to kill him. See the gas, walk into the gas. Oh boy, I forgot to cancel it early. Reason why you want to walk into the gas is that the gas will hurt you and it's going to trigger your hunter's adrenaline, and that's actually going to give you more energy. Okay, I think I'm gonna suck them up. Okay, we have enough. Let's do this. So far I haven't seen the disruptor. If there is one, the ancient disruptor. Right, that's the name, right? Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments, by the way. Oh, there you go. There he is. Disruptor, yeah. So there's a few ways to handle it. You can try to kill it. If you go closer, when he's in range, you do a little bit more damage. Or the easiest way is actually, well, you can come out and kill him like that. But the easiest way, if it's not an Eximus, you can actually just swallow him up. And that will save you a lot of time trying to hurt it. Ooh, gas. Nice. Now, the things that you cannot eat is obviously the boss monsters. And apparently you can't take in Eximus as well. So, if he is not an Eximus, oopsie, you can actually just eat him up. And that will solve the problem. Okay, next map. So we are at 100% efficiency. We are in zone 6. Oh, this one might be a little bit of a challenge because there are some over here that has armor, and what that means is that it's just gonna be tougher to deal with, especially when we don't have a full team and we don't have that, what do you call, corrosive projection to weaken them. So what I'll do is I'll roll towards those with armor. If we have a Saren or if we are rolling with corrosive projection, I can actually stay somewhat at the center and just bounce. But when it comes to, well, when it comes to me soloing, I feel like it's a good idea to roll towards, know, these woo-hoo-hoo almost fell in. Energy balls, bows. Uh-oh, I might die. No, stop. Oof. Okay, so the problem here is that the animation takes time and it can really hurt you in that sense, because you want it to stop but it doesn't stop. So someone actually mentioned that they were thinking of putting natural talent on this character, which actually I feel like not a bad idea, because if you could react fast. Like, I wouldn't have died if he stopped when I want him to stop, because all I need to do is do one heavy attack and I get back my health. So, but the problem is he's in the animation of doing the skill. Uh-oh, I forgot to pre-cancel it. Hey, there you go. We really need to try to get to 100% efficiency before we go, if possible. Sadly, looks like it's not going to be possible. Reason being is because it gets a little bit tougher to get to 100% at zone 8. So, okay, we are in the next zone. I feel like this place, the center that I like to stand, is probably like right over here. Okay, so now we need to take some damage. I'm actually going to use my operator as well, just to get a little bit more energy. Oh no. Oh wow. Okay, some balls here. Okay, I need to take damage. Give me some gas or something. Do me damage. Okay. Okay, we have 2 buff activated. Nice. And all we have to do is really just keep bouncing. Hopefully you can get a little bit higher with our efficiency, else we're gonna have to struggle a lot in zone 8. So you can see in the distance there's actually one ancient that's not taking any damage. So I believe it has something to do with maybe the ancient is immune to impact or poison, toxin. Because if I'm not mistaken, one of my skills does impact or toxin. So he's actually not taking damage. I'm not too sure if his aura will cause the enemies around him to not take damage as well. So I have to be really careful with that. Okay, so what happened here is that I realized that my health is really low. So I need to, there you go, regain my health real quick. Try to gobble up at least 10. You want to gobble at least 10. Okay, that's 15. That's enough. Okay, we got 2 buffs as well. Yep. And then we just need to bounce. So you do have to pay attention to some other ancients. If you see like enemies not taking any damage, look for the ancient and try to get rid of him. Very important stuff for this build to work, at least. Okay, let's go a little bit to the center. So we're at 50% efficiency. Not very good. I really wish that we can get a little bit higher. Okay, now we're in zone 8. So zone 8, same thing. Infested, look for the disruptors. Look for those that would actually cause us some issues when it comes to doing our bounce damage. Oh, I see some energy orbs. Try to get them. Okay, I'm going to cancel it, pre-cancel it, heal a little bit and fight. In this level, they are actually relatively strong, so the damage that they do is quite high. So you just want to take a little bit of a damage. Okay, let's do our operator thing. Alright, we're doing quite well. I think we have a decent amount of energy. Now, notice that I saw a lot of ancients far away, so I actually went for those ancients. I gobbled them up instead of gobbling all those low levels in front of me. So reason being is all because of it's a lot easier to settle them by eating them than to try to kill them this way. Ooh. Okay, one actually got stuck and died. The killed by the game actually, not even by us. Okay, let's come back here. So we are quite steady right now at 50%, but zone 9 is really tough in my opinion. So normally I'll extract at zone 8. Zone 8 is also the rotation C. So technically if you can get all the way to this point, you can farm whatever it is that you want from this game if you can clear rotation 8. So really not too much of a incentive to go to zone 9. But since we're already here, I guess we can try. But I doubt we can do it because we're alone and also because our efficiency value is kind of low. Oh no, I forgot to pre-cancel it. Wasn't paying attention. Oh my god, our efficiency is just dropping like crazy. Okay, come on, show me your faces. Alright, that's 11, and also a lot of okay. There's actually a spot here that I felt that's not too bad, which is right over here at the corner. You don't take so much damage, but I feel like we actually need to hunt for them, because staying at one spot waiting for them to come over in zone 9 feels too slow. So I feel like I do need to roll over to them to kill them a little bit faster. Okay, so there is a problem over there. There's nullifier and the ice guy. So the ice one is actually protecting the nullifier from actually getting their nullifier balls destroyed. So okay, I don't think I can make it. We only have 2% efficiency. Oh no. Okay, so tell me what you guys think down in the comments. The build for this is really power strength, obviously hunter adrenaline. You want to have range, that's also important. Oh yeah, and also efficiency. Did I already say efficiency? I'm not too sure. Okay, so yeah, let me know down in the comments what you think of this build, and I hope it kind of give you some variety in Warframe, because the reason why it gets stale and why people don't play it as much, especially the OGs, is because we kind of like learn too much about the game, and the moment you know everything, it becomes less interesting. So hopefully this will add some spice or make things more interesting. No longer you have to go in with Saren, you can go in with this weird fat looking dude. Happy gaming. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye. Don't forget to like and subscribe.